So going from auto mode to manual mode can be a little daunting, but I think I've found a way for you to set your camera so you should find it a little easier to wrap your head around everything that you need to know. There are definitely a lot of videos out there that will tell you how aperture, ISO, and shutter speed work together, what you need to change when, in what situation to get a brighter image or a darker image. But I found most of those are as if you're going to school, which is not a bad thing. It's definitely not a bad thing. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take your aperture and you're going to want to open it all the way up. Put it to the very smallest number that your lens has, 1.8, 2.8, 1.4, whatever it is. So you change that all the way open. And then you take your shutter speed and you go as fast as you can. So an 800th, or I mean an 8,000th or a 4,000th, whatever it might be. Then you're going to want to take your ISO and you're going to want to boost it so that your exposure is as underexposed as you're comfortable with. Go ahead, take some pictures, see how that looks. If you're good with it, then now you're essentially in shutter priority mode because you can't go any faster. So you aren't going to be able to underexpose anymore unless you, of course, go with a bigger aperture number. And if you go with a bigger aperture number, then you're going to want to lower your shutter speed. So you're really just working with two settings right now, which is typically what you're going to want to do anyway. Because what the ISO does, at least on a digital camera, is it artificially intensifies the light and it adds more noise. So you're going to want with that to just say, okay, I'm outside, so it needs to be 100, 200, or 400. You need to have that in your mind. That it needs to be one of those. If it's a bright sunny day, you're going to want it to be pretty low. Unless you want a lot of grain. If you want to have a lot of noise, it's not technically real grain, of course, but if you want to have real noise, a lot of noise in your photo, then of course go up to 800, 1600, and so on. But that's definitely the least important setting. Although, of course, when you're inside, you're going to want it to be high. So you have to pay attention to it. You can't only use aperture and shutter speed. So I hope this helps somewhat. Please feel free to leave a comment on how it worked for you, or if you have any suggestions on what you think could be improved. And I will see you next time. Thank you.